And welcome back. Well, after the events of the last episode, I hung around in the EnderTrap collecting ender pearls for a couple of hours, and I found that yes, indeed, it can pretty much fill the inventory in about roughly an hour or so. And so now I've got at least a large chest and a half full of ender pearls. And I've also been thinking about this trap and ways to improve its efficiency, in addition to the seemingly endless task of lighting up the underground caves and abandoned mine shafts, which I've been doing a lot of, at least another 16 stacks of torches worth of lighting up. And, well, thinking about this trap, when Hypno first came up with this thing, he designed it to be Enderman friendly, because Endermen falling through the lava and landing there would pretty much die on impact or burn to death shortly afterwards. But of course, since then, Endermen have gotten a real beef up on their hit points, and now they don't die in this trap. I've collected some ender pearls, but that's because when you hit the button to flush things out of there, any Enderman in there will fall through, hit the water, and of course teleport out onto the platform someplace where they get to be killed that way. And it's a pain in the butt having to chase them around and so on. And so while I have got some ender pearls here, I'm not really interested in getting Endermen in this thing. And so that's part of what I'm thinking about for another way to improve the efficiency of this thing. Basically, the killing floors are all 3 blocks high. And I didn't think about it when I was last working on it, but honestly, especially given the ender trap in the end, I don't need this thing to produce Endermen. And so what I should do is take that floor, move it down a block, and so on, all the way up, so that each spawning floor is in fact only 2 blocks high. And this means that Endermen will not be able to spawn in here, and by restructuring this thing for 2 block high spawning floors, I'll be able to get maybe, well, at least 9, possibly 10 spawning floors out of this, where I've got 7 now without changing the building height. And then of course, when 1.2 comes out, the build limit is raised to 256. Well, I'll be increasing the size of this tower all the way up to the new build limit as soon as I'm able to do so. I've also done a little bit of a test to determine just exactly what this thing is capable of under ideal conditions, and it works out pretty good. And for that, I'm going to go to a test world where I have a copy of this tower. Alright, here we are on the test world. Now, this test world, I made it with MC Edit. I created a super flat world, and then I selected all of the area from 300 blocks in either direction of the spawn point, from sea level of block 64 down to y equals 5. And I turned all of that into water. And then I imported a copy of the schematic for this tower and placed it at sea level right here at spawn. Spawn, I believe, is right over there on the platform. And so what that means is that the only dark, unlit, spawnable places in this entire world are up there in the tower by design. Simply to do that, to test just exactly how effective this thing can be under ideal circumstances, and it turns out to be pretty good. And now I'm going to switch from peaceful back to hard and let the spawning begin. as you can see, it's got pretty good results. This is what it produced in 20 minutes. And that 20 minutes being sped up really big time, of course. And as you can see also, there are still a bunch of Endermen around that this thing is not killing. It did kill a couple of them because they probably fell from the higher floors, but all in all, there's no percentage in having this thing Enderman friendly, so to speak. And so I'm thinking of some redesign. And now back to the real world. Alright. Now here we are back in the regular world. And as you can see, the thing needs some modification. I want to do the change with the spawning floors to make them only 2 high, so that there is no Enderman friendly factor to them at all. And another thing I want to come up with is a timer, because as it is, it's necessary to come down here and hit this button, preferably without destroying it, to flush the thing a little less than every 5 minutes to prevent items from simply despawning while they're sitting up there. This means you can't necessarily AFK with the thing. So what I'd like to do is extend the platform on this corner out and build some kind of a timer circuit that will send a pulse down that redstone line about every, honestly, I think about every once a minute, to activate the pistons, let the items drop through, and coast down here to where I'd be standing here. And that way I could remain AFK. And if the thing is not producing Endermen, there won't be any problems with Endermen hitting the water and teleporting out of the trap and pushing me around and so on. And so I'm going to go ahead and start work on the first stage of this, which is to make it not Enderman friendly. So let's turn the lava on and disable spawning. And let's see, I've got some pressure plates just in case I need to replace any. I don't have my pistons here, but that's alright. If I need to, I'll go get them. And so once again, we're redesigning the mob tower. If I can stay on the ladder. Okay. Alright, the lava's doing its thing. I'm going to extend the floor out here. So that I have a place to work without risking falling into the lava below. And now let's take these blocks here off the pistons, so that I can work without being pushed around. And now this floor will be easy because all I need to do is put blocks up there. Replace the piston that I knocked loose, and do the same over here. Knocked another piston loose. Alright, now Now all I got to do is go ahead and put the blocks back on the pistons. And on this side as well. Another thing I'm thinking about is that once 1.2 comes out, to change the lighting arrangement so that it uses the new lamps instead of lava. Just simply because it'll be safer for maintenance. Alright, now all I have to do is go ahead and tear the temporary floor back out of here, go up to the next level, and repeat the same procedure all the way up to the top of the building. And I'm going to go ahead and work on that, and I'll catch up with you as I'm done. Alright, I have completed the update, and by the way, it's a good thing that I didn't try to record it, because between having to go back as I expected and pick up more materials and some interruptions from the so-called real world, it took me nearly 2 hours to get this bit of work done. If I could have done so uninterrupted, it probably would have taken maybe 35 or 40 minutes, but as it is, 2 hours. And now, turn the lava off, get this thing running again. I'm going to park up here on my little perch And the reason I use this is because it lets me see the top of the fence post area there. So it'll take a minute or two for the lava to chill out and the whole place to go dark. As I expected, I ended up with a grand total of 9 spawning floors, where I had 7 to begin with. And there is now no place in there where an Enderman can spawn. So that will eliminate wasted spawns and should increase, at least to some degree, the number of spawns of the ones that we want. Just a question of how long it's going to take things to get started. So far it doesn't look very busy. And I know I'm not on peaceful because on the way back a few minutes ago with some more materials I needed, I got jumped in the nether by some zombie pigmen. I have to say though, it is often infuriating waiting for this thing to start. It seems to take quite a while to get heated up and running. So I'm going to wait a little bit here, and I'm just going to time-lapse this, speed it up, and see how it goes. Okay, this is not going anywhere at all, so it's time to run upstairs and see if there's a reason for that. Lava is switched off. Go up there and make sure that it is actually off. And that it is actually dark in there. Yes, the lava is off and it's dark. Okay. That means there's no obvious explanation as to why nothing seems to be going on. There is now 180 spawnable spaces in there. And there should be mobs spawning in there. And now I'm going to try a quit and restart and see if that helps it. Alright. Apparently that's all it was needed. Quit and restart, and we have mobs dropping. So I'm going to head back to the perch and try another, say, 2 or 3 minutes of time lapse. See what we get out of this thing. Alright, that's 5 minutes of time lapse. Let's see what we ended up with here. Not a whole heck of a lot. And I think what I'm going to do is give it a longer test off camera. About an hour or so, and see what it gets to that.